Today we're gonna learn about Seaborn. As I told you yesterday about Matplotlib, that Matplotlib and Seaborn are one of the two, like those two are one of the widely used data visualization libraries. Yesterday we learned about Matplotlib and how you can use Matplotlib to plot different graphs. Same thing we're gonna do with Seaborn. Now Seaborn is like it's built like it's on the top of Matplotlib. It's literally built on the top of Matplotlib. So all the functions that you want that you can do in Matplotlib is available in Seaborn. And with that, you have some new functionalities also present with Seaborn, which is not there in Matplotlib. So can you please adjust the font? Oh, okay, sir. I always forget. Sorry. Remove it. Remove it. Detect. Detect. Cool. Done. Now, so if you'll know this that Matplotlib like Seaborn is built on Matplotlib, then why do you even use Matplotlib? So one of the thing is because Seaborn is built on Matplotlib, so it's basically what's happening. You're writing the code for Seaborn. Writing the code for Seaborn, it's going to convert it to a Matplotlib script with some internal scripting that has been present given by the Seaborn library, and then you're going to get your answer like other graph. So it's like you're giving one more step to do work on. So if you know that your work will be happily done by Matplotlib only, that the functions that you the functions that Seaborn provides you, you don't need that. So it's better to use Matplotlib because it's faster as compared to Seaborn. Because if you'll see the timing, like timing of the graph to pop up or the graph to update, it's comparatively a bit higher as compared to Matplotlib. It's not so high, but it's a bit high. So 1 second, like 1 or 10 nanoseconds for computation time is not visible for us. Like it's not so visible for us. But when you do a big project in which data visualization is necessary, even that 10 nanoseconds of computational extra time will affect your model. So we're going to learn about Seaborn today. So first we're going to learn about how to display the graphs which are continuous in nature, like which includes numbers. And then later we'll check the graphs which have categorical values. So first we'll go for the numbers. For this, we're going to go for three graphs, which is test plot, joint plot, and pair plot. Now, joint plot shows the relation between two variables, max to max two variables, like how x is related to y, or how age is related to the weight, or something like that in a proper questions. Pair plot is used for showing the information which are not limited to three dimensions, because okay, we can plot till three dimensions, but we cannot plot more than three dimensions. So just imagine if you have a data set which have like five attributes, you can say five columns, and you want to see the relation between all the five columns. If it's two, then you can plot a graph. If it's three, fine, you can plot a graph till five, like three also. But if it's five attribute, you cannot plot a 5D graph. It's not possible. So for that, we use a pair plot. What pair plot does is it's gonna make a permutation like combination of each and every attribute, like in each and every attribute in two, and gonna show you the graph. So we'll see what exactly pair plot is, including with dist plot and joint plot. So to call Seaborn, as simple as that, we just import Seaborn's library as SNS. Now, Seaborn has so many data set which is pre-installed in them. Like there are TIPS dataset, there is Iris dataset. You will come across Iris dataset whole lot of time in the machine learning stuff, because it's like one of the most common dataset that has been pre-installed in Seaborn as it is. You don't have to call it or something. It's gonna be there. Okay, someone's microphone is on. It will be really good if they'll just close it. My voice is lagging, bro. Okay, I'll try to speak a bit slow. expand. Okay. So there are different dataset that is predefined, like it's installed, like pre-installed in the library itself. So you do not have to call the functions by themselves, like call the dataset from outside. So to include any dataset which is there in Seaborn, we use a function sns.load dataset, and inside that you can provide the dataset name that you want it to be there. There are different datasets that you can search on, like which is present in load dataset. There are tips, there is iris, there is 20 news group, and there are some more. So for now we are using the tips dataset. If we now we got the tips dataset and we displayed it into a pandas data frame. Now we can see what all we have. We have 244 rows and 7 columns. And what are the 7 columns? The total bill, the tip that the person gave, what is the sex, are they smoker or not, what's the day, what is the time, and what's the size. So what exactly this data set represents is it's a restaurant data set which tells you how for a single for a single guy or single girl, what is the total bill that they made, how much tip that they gave to the waiter, what is their sex, smoker, day, time, and size. So we can see there are like 7 attributes and 243, like 0 to 243 rows means 244 columns. Oh, sorry, 244 rows. It means there are 244 entries of different person. Now what we are gonna do is we're gonna consider, like for imagine just we're gonna considering it. Uh, Total bill, sex, smoker, day, time, and size are our uh, independent variables. And on the base of all these variables like total bill, sex, smoker, day, time, and size, we are trying to predict tip. So that's how like a machine learning model works. You have to find out what are the independent variables and what are dependent variables. We'll go through like each and every one of like what are dependent, what are independent in the upcoming classes when we start the algorithms. But for now, just imagine, just think how we just exactly distribute them. Now, as I showed you about correlation, like what is exactly correlation is, and I showed you how to call a correlation. It's a simple function, df.corr. It gives you the correlation between all the attributes which are continuous in nature. It doesn't take care of any categorical value. You only take care of the continuous data, which is either integer or floating point. So you can say out of all the 7, 1, 2, and 3, there are only 3 attributes which are continuous variables. So the correlation has been defined for only total bill, tip, and size. So you can see the matrix. Now if you don't want to see the matrix, because if you remember, I've showed you the correlation which is really big. The previous time when I showed you the correlation was really big. It has 28 columns. So what we do is we make a heat map. So what heat map does is, heat map is gonna just code each and every data that you're providing into a color coding. As you can see, the heat map has been printed with a scale that if the wait so if the color is lighter, it's a high positive correlation, and if the color is lower, it's a low positive correlation. It's low correlation. So how to create a heat map? We just write sns.heatmap and provide the correlation data. As you can see, the correlation data provides this. So we just provide this data as an input and put it into a heat map. So you can see the whole heat map has been created. So the same thing which is giving here can be seen in the heat map. So you can see, ignore. So you can see total bill, tip, and size, total bill, tip, and size. And according to the correlation, as you can see, tip and total bill has a correlation of 0.6. So tip and total bill has a correlation of 0.6. You can see in the chart like 0.6 gives some kind of this kind of color, and this is a similar color here. Now you can see total bill and size. Total bill and size is 0.5. So you can see 0.5 total bill versus size should have this kind of color. So waste total bill versus size will have this kind of a color. So this is what heat map does. It's just gonna converts the data that you're providing into heat maps. Now we'll come for what happened. Sorry. So we come for joint plot. Now joint plot is mainly used for univariate analysis. Now what is a univariate analysis? So univariate analysis stands for any analysis that you're providing, like univariate, you can also use it for bivariate also. So in univariate or bivariate analysis, what are those? So if you're actually like you only have one column as your data, like you just only know you have 244 rows of a person having only their sex or only their age. That's what they call a univariate analysis or a univariate column. You only have single data. If it's a bivariate analysis, bi means two, so you have two data. Like for a single person, you know their height and weight. So this is what bivariate analysis. Multivariate analysis, it means you have more than two data, like 3, 4, 5 data for a single person. So that's what we call a bivariate, like multivariate analysis. So how to point a joint plot? So first I'll show you what exactly joint plot shows you. So joint plot shows you the frequency of how many times the object or any item occurred and what is the concentration. Now we can see how to plot a joint plot first. You know this. So SNS.joint_plot, ignore this AX. So SNS.joint_plot, we provide the like x-axis as tip, y as total bill, and we have to provide which data that you're providing, because as you know, we haven't provided like df, we didn't write df.joint_plot, so we have to provide which data you're providing. So x as tip, y as total bill, the data from which the graph has been plotted is df, so data is df, and kind is hex. So there are different kinds that you can provide. Hex, you can see the points will be in a hexagonal shape. If you want to know what all shapes that you can provide, just go and see the documentation. Read. You'll find hex somewhere. The only problem here is you just have to like search where there is hex, where exactly hex has been mentioned, and I can't find it for some reason. Okay, kind. So kind. So you can have a scatter plot, a regression line, a residual line, KDE, which stands for kernel density estimation, and hex. So these are all the possible outcomes, like the possible things that you can show on. So this is for now we are just going through hex. I'll show you what exactly you can do with later parts. So we provide x is tip, y is total bill, and data at df. Now what happens is for x we give the tip, y we give the total bill, and we provided the data. Now what happens is it's just gonna give for each and every point for x what is the corresponding value of y. It's gonna populate it, and you can see there are different color codes. So as light the color goes, it means the density is less, and as high the color goes or as dark the color goes, it means the density is very high. So you can see the color is really dark here. It means there are more number of people who who gave the tip of around 2 rupees and made the bill of around 10 rupees. There are a high number of people, and you can see there are really 1 or 2 people who made a bill of 50 rupees and gave a tip of 10 rupees. They're like really less. So most of the people are around this. So you can get to know from this particular data that most of the people most of the people make a total bill in ranging from 10 to 20 and give a tip of 2 to 4. So this is what you can conclude from this joint plot. Now joint plot also gives an additional advantage that it just shows you the histogram of the data. You can see the histogram of the data is always present here. So you can see tip has this particular axis. So the reverse of that will be a histogram of tip. Total bill has in this a y-axis. So the reverse of the opposite of that, you will get a histogram of total bill. So it's just a added advantage that you can get with joint plot if you want to see the joint plots. Because if you really want to know what is the histogram of tip or histogram of total bill, you do not have to plot it again. Joint plot just plots it for you. So now we used hex. Now we can go for any other thing, which is rec. So rec gives you the exact points. As last option I showed you, hexagonal. So the more more darker the hexagonal is, the more populated it is. So now in rec, what it happens is it doesn't make a hexagonal points. It's just going to make exact small scatter points. Like a scatter plot gives you a scatter point. So you can see all the points are basically lying between 10 to 20 and 0 to 2, like 2 to 4. Most of the points are lying between here. And reg stands for regression. And I'll tell you, like in later class, you'll get to know what exactly exactly regression works. So regression is like out of all the points, it's trying to make a best fit line which crosses through all the points. So you can see that the line is not anywhere near to all the points, but this is the best fit line that you can make out of all these points. Don't worry what exaggeration, you'll get to know in later classes. So this is what a joint plot. Now we'll go for pair plot. As I told you, now previously we are just comparing tip and total bill. So we have only two attributes, X or Y. What if we have like, we want to compare between everything? We want to compare between total bill and tip, total bill and size, tip and size, or sex or smoker, day or time, whatever. Like all the attributes we want to check on. So for that, we can have pair plots. And now one more limitation of pair plot is, it's not a limitation, that's how the pair plot works. It's only gonna work on continuous data, not categorical data. So it's gonna take care of tip, total bill, and size. So you can see again as a, so as a heat map, it's gonna make a columns, total bill, tip and size, total bill, tip and size. So it's just a matrix of graphs which gives you the relation between one attribute to the other attribute. So you can see total bill has this row. So if you want to know what is the like correlation between total bill versus total bill, so it's not going to be a point like finding total bill to versus total bill. So if you're trying to find, like, if you'll see what is the correlation between total bill versus total bill, you'll just get a histogram of the data. That's it. But if you're trying to find out with someone else, like total bill versus tip, so you'll get a proper points, like for each total bill, what all tip they gave, for each total bill, what like for each tip, what all total bill they have. So you'll get a scatter plot. For size, so for size you can see that straight lines. It means size are divided into, as you can see, size is 2, 3, 4. So it's limited between what all sizes are there. So you can see it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the number of sizes are 2 to 6, is 1 to 6. So what all, for what all sizes, what all total bill they made. So this is exactly how pair plot works. Pair plot just gives you the correlation between each and every attribute versus each and every attribute. So you can again see size versus total bill for each and every size. What is the total bill it's present here? And you can see total bill versus size. You can see here, and you can also see size versus total bill. So if it's a reverse, where the mouse went. So if it's a reverse image, what it will do is just gonna take the same image and change the axis. So you can see size versus total bill. The axis only changed. That's it. Nothing happened. This axis changed. So this is how pair plot works. Pair plot helps you to find the relation between many attributes, so that you can decide which attributes to take, which attributes to ignore in a machine learning model. Now, there is one example. Sorry, not one example. So there's an example. It's a attribute that you can provide with pair plot, which is hue or hui or whatever you want to call it. So what hue does is it's just gonna okay. So what hue does is it's just gonna club, or what you can say, split the data on the condition that you're providing, or on the categorical data that you're providing. So if you want to see the same thing, the pair plot, but you want to divide it in between sex, like show me how many are males and how many are females, like which of them are males and which of them are females. So we provide the value sex. Just to remember, you can provide anything in hue. As you, for now you have understood, if you provide anything in hue, it's just gonna like cluster the data come on depending upon the hue that you provided. So you can see all the color coding has been done, and the legend has been there that blue points for male and yellow points for female. So all the data that has been provided in the first pair plot is exactly the same, but now it's been just clustered between which are male and which are female. If you want to get to know more insights about it, you can use hue. And one thing that you should remember in hue is hue can take any data. It can take categorical data, it can take continuous data, but it's hardly like, don't ever try to give any continuous data in hue, because if you'll go and give any continuous data, just imagine if I go and give what total, what's the name, total bill. Just imagine I give total BALL. If I give total bill, so what will happen for each and every different value of total bill, it's gonna populate that tree. So it's gonna take a lot of time, because the data that I've given for total bill, it's really big. So it's going to take a bit of time. And that's why I told you, if your work will be completed by Matplotlib, so it's suggested to use Matplotlib because Seaborn takes a bit of time. So you can see it's still running to give the graph. So I'll come back and show you. So let it run. When it will be plotted, I'll show you how exactly total bill will just mess up the whole graph. Now we'll come to displot. So what a displot does is, displot is nothing, it's just a distribution plot or density plot. So we provided the total bill and vertical, remove vertical true. Okay, I can't even run the code. Let it run. It's going to take a lot of time. So what displot does is, it's going to show you the distribution of the data. So what we provided in the displot, how to print the displot, sns.displot. And we provide the data. So df.total bill. So we provide the data df.total bill. Now what it will show is, it is going to show you what is the frequency of each and every value. Like for 10 to 20, how many values are there? For 20 to 30, how many values are there? And as you know, in which graph I showed you. Okay, let me, okay, I can't show. So you can see in between 2 to 4, like most of the people are in between 2 to 4 with the tip, and 10 to 20 for the total bill. So that's the same. Okay, I guess the graph has been printed. So what total bill did is, it's just gonna go, it went and searched for each and every different value of total bill and then created a graph. So you can see the graph has been completely messed up because it just made a class of each and every value of total bill, which is not acceptable. So just keep every time keep the value of hue to be a categorical data. So you can see male and female. If you want to find the basis of size, so size can be controllable because there are like only 6 different kind of sizes, 1 2 3 4 5 6. So relating on the sizes, the same graph isn't printed, but it's just been classified between different sizes. You can provide smoker. So which one is smoker, which one is not smoker has been color coded. So this is what a pair plot, like this is how a pair plot works. So distance and discipline works like, and disciplines will work what? It's gonna give you the distribution of what all data is being present. So in the previous graph I showed you that most of the people are in between 10 to 20 range. So we can see in 10 to 20 range, the graph is the highest. And there's only, like you can see in the graph, there's only one guy, one or two guys, which had a total bill of 50. So you can see in this graph, there's only one guy, like one or two, which has a total bill of 50. So this is how a distance plot works. So if we'll remove this vertical true, it's just gonna make it horizontal. As simple. If you want to change the axis, make it vertical true. Now, if you don't want to get to know the exact distribution, like what a percentage, because what displot gives you automatically, like you can see here also, like again I'll show you just vertical true, vertical not true. So what exactly displot gives you is the percentage, like what total percentage of people which are in between 10 to 20, or what percentage of people which are in 20 to 30, exact percentage, or like the density. But if you don't want the density, you want to know the exact number, like between 2 to 4, how many people are there? Exact number, not the densities. So we just do one particular function, which is kd is equal to false. Kd stands for kernel density function. If kd is true for this particular attribute, sorry, this particular function, it's just going to give you the output in kernel densities, like what is the density of the output. But if you want to get to know the kernel, like exact number, not the density, what we do, we go for kd is equal to false. So it's just going to give the same data, but it's providing the exact number. So now you can see between 2 to 4, like make it like between 2 to 4, like if you imagine it's 3. So between 2 to 3, 80 people gave the tip. Between 3 to 4, 75 or 74 people gave the tip. So this is what you can do if you write kd false. Now bin. Bin stands for what exactly bins that you're providing for. Like it's going to be 10, 20, 30, 40. If you make the bins of 5. Now the bins which has been created here, like what all bins are there? In between, the class has been, like the data has been clubbed routine. So The less you're gonna create the bins, the more data can be compacted in between the bins. So this is what bins do. So most of the time, if you remove the bin, it's gonna be, its default is 10. Let me bins here. So this is what bins are. Now what I we learn about what all plots you can do for categorical data. Sorry, continuous data. Now we'll come for categorical plots. For categorical plots, we have so many points like histograms, volume plots, bar plot, and I guess you remember about bar plots, which you have seen in Matplotlib. The bar plot of Seaborn is going to be exactly the same, but the only thing is Seaborn gives you many more options or many more functionalities or different options in which you can just play around or get to know more about the data. So first we'll go for box plot. Sorry, first we'll go for count plot. So what count plot does it? If you sometimes anytime forgot like what exactly this particular function works, just again press shift tab, you'll get to know what exactly things are there, and it is going to give you a doc string. So a doc string is a string which tells you about the function or tells you about the page, like what this is what exactly doc string means. So if you read the doc string, you show the counts of the observation in each categorical bins using bars. So what it will do, just gonna give the count of each and every categorical value in the shape of bars. So what we provided, sns.countplot, we provided the data smoker with the data of df. So go to df, the data df, and search for the column smoker. I guess someone's microphone is on. Okay, it was on. Nice. Close it. So okay, so now we can see we can have a graph of how many people out of the total people, how many are smoker and how many are not smoker. So it's a good sign that most of the people are non-smokers compared to most of the people who are smokers. So if you want to change and check about sex, you can see more number of males are there as compared to more number of females. Not a good sign, not equality. So what all things are there? Now we want to see day. So we can provide day here also. Day. So Thursday 60 people came, Friday 20 people came, Saturday and Sunday 80 and 70 people came. So that's obvious that on weekends you get more people in the restaurant. So this is what all data insights that you can get from count plot. Now what we can do is count plots takes the values. If I'll show you this thing, count plot takes the value of x or y. So you can provide either x or either y. It depends on you. But if you'll provide it, if you're not gonna provide any like exact value, x is equal to or y is equal to, defaultly it's x-axis. So the data that you're providing, it's on x-axis. But Google Classroom. But if you want to like tell your data, like if you want to do the vertical is equal to true, what you can do is provide the data that you provide, like provide the axis that you're providing into y-axis. So we did the same thing. If I'll just write sex here. Okay, so the same graph, you want to have the data male and female on y-axis. We just give your attribute or the categorical data into the into the parameter y, and we got the same graph but on y-axis. So this is what count plot is capable of. What is bar plot now? So the difference between count plot and bar plot is really less. So count plot gives you the count of any categorical data. What bar plot does is bar plot gives you the variation between any categorical data. So what is the variation means? You can see it's gonna only give you the number of male or number of female if it's sex. So if it's a day, the number of people on Thursday, number of people on Friday. So it's only gonna give you the number, like how many people came or what is the exact attribute or what is the exact number. As you can see in the doc string. Okay, sorry. You can see in the doc string. It's only gonna give you the count of observations. That's it. It's only going to give you the count of observation. But if you want to get to know, don't want to get to know the exact count of observation, you're going to get to know what is the exact relation between two of the values. So you want to see that out of smokers, how many non-smokers, how much tip the non-smokers gave and how much tip the smokers gave, or how much tip the male gave, how much tip female gave. So what we can do is we use the bar plot. So for bar plot, we provided x is x to tip and y to smoker. So x-axis has tip, y-axis has smoker. So if y has smoker, so y has been distributed into smoker of yes or smoker of no, and x has been distributed into tip. So we can see tip is $3 for smokers, and tip is again $3 for non-smokers. So you can see if they are smokers or not, they give the same amount of tip. The average of same amount of tip given by smokers and non-smokers. If you want to check about male and female, so we'll give sex. So it's distributed between male and female. So you can see comparatively female give a bit less tip as compared to male. So these are the insights that you can get with bar plot. So there's one thing that is suggested: keep one column. If you're providing x and y in bar plot, keep one column as categorical data and one column as continuous data. Again, I'll tell you, one column as categorical so that the charts has been divided, classes can be divided, and one as continuous so that you'll get the exact data of what you want. But it's not if you write both of the attributes x and y as continuous data, it's not like you're doing it wrong. But again, the same thing that happened with hue, it's gonna happen here. If I'll give tip here and if I'll give, okay, I'll not write total bill, otherwise it will again take 5 minutes. So if I'll size, so it's gonna take a bit of time, and you can see your shape has been, your graph has been messed up completely. So make sure one column has to be continuous and one column has to be categorical. If both are continuous, you'll get some kind of graph which you'll never understand. So make sure that you have one categorical and one continuous data for bar plot. Now the same thing that we printed here, we want to just reverse it. So what we did, for the value of y, we gave the value of x, and for the value of x, we give the value of y. So the graph has been printed. Now there's one task which I want to give you. You can see this one small bar on the top of each and every bar plot. So these are called error lines. I want all of you to go on the internet or wherever and try to find out what exactly this error lines tells you. Because to be honest, even I have no idea. Like, it took me like a whole day to figure out that they are called error lines. And till now, I have not exactly known what exactly this error lines tell you. The only rough idea that I have about error lines is that if it's completely centered, the error combination, like the error of like error shifting is less. If it's shifted from the center, the error rate is a bit higher as compared to anyone which is shifted in the exact center. So how exactly it's been found out, what is the error combination, what is the error rate, I want you all to just go and search what exactly this means. This is not exactly a task, this is just like, this is not exactly a task which I'm gonna rate you or something. I'm asking you to do it because even I have no idea how this thing works. So this is what a bar plot is. Now we'll go for box plot. Similar as the box plot which I've shown you in Matplotlib, the same thing happens with box plot here. Now, how are we gonna divide the box plot? SNS.box plot, we give the x-axis as total bill, y-axis as x, and data as df. So we got a box plot. Now, as you remember, in Matplotlib, we just provide only one data. Like, we're gonna provide only a total bill or only as x on the number of, like, the count of observations. On the basis of count of observation, you're gonna get the minimum, maximum, 25 percentile, 50 percentile, 75 percentile. But what we can do in SNS or the Seaborn's box plot is we can provide both the axes. So what you're getting is a box plot which is comparing between sex versus total bill, not the observation of total bill or the number of the count of observation of sex. So you can see out of male and female, the minimum is somewhere around 9 or something. The 25th percentile will be somewhere around 11 or 12. The 50th percentile will be 17. 75 percentile will be 25 or something. Maximum is 40. And these are the outliers. As you can see that if any line or any dot is outside the max plot, they are outliers. So you can see it's male and female. If you want to search about what was that, smoker, we can have the box plot for smoker for on the basis of total bill. If you don't want to have the basis of total bill, you want to have the basis of tip, you can provide tip. We have the box plot for tip. As simple. Now, how to make it look more good? One of the best thing about Seaborn is it can make your graph look better as compared to anything in Seaborn. So the same thing that we have written, the box plot y-axis and x-axis, you can exactly either. So the default is the first value is x, second value is y. But if you want to change it, like you want to give first value as y and second value is x, it's possible. You just have to write explicitly identify that this is y and this is x. No one uses it, but still this is a function that you can reverse the positionings by explicitly adding what all attributes are there. Now there's one option called which is known as palette. Palette gives you the color combinations. As you can see, this particular color combinations are deep colors, yellow, blue. Now this is what some light color. So this color combination is saved in color combination named rainbow. What are color combinations are present there? Just go to the doc string, find the palette, like if you can find. Sometimes it's hard for me to even find. Find. Nice. Sometimes even I can't even find stuffs. Slowly find. Orient palette. The palette name, list or dictionary. So what you can give either the palette name, their different palette name. Where is it? Okay, I can't even find it. Okay, one best and one thing I have to tell you about this particular documentation is that you'll get examples also here. So as you can see, draw a vertical plot groups by categorical values. You get an exact line of how exactly you can write it here. So you give the data. Now, if you want to know the examples, it's giving an example like draw a vertical box plot grouped by categorical variable. The same thing that you want to write, and it's exactly compared to like it will take the data that you're providing and gives you an example like x is equal to day, y is equal to total bill. So it's a dynamic example formation stuff that just gives you an example based on the data that you're providing. So you can just copy it and paste it and you get a graph which is mentioned here. So this is one of the best thing about using the Jupyter docstring. So there are different names about period. So if you want to, and if you sometimes didn't get to know what all periods you can use, write a random name, and at the end you'll get to know which all color maps are available. So possible values are so many. So if I'll use accent, ACCENT. So these are the color combinations for accent. So there are like many color combinations that you can use as I've shown. This is not going to do anything changing in the data. The only thing it's going to go is change the colors of the box plot. Now we can do one more thing. If you don't want to see it in the orientation of verticality, if you want to see it in the orientation of horizontal, vertical. If you don't want to see it in the orientation of horizontality, you want to see it in vertical. So what we do is we give the horizontal orient as V. So what orient will do? V will do. Just gonna make the orientation vertical. So right orient V, the graph has been made vertical. If you remove it, remove. Sorry, df. Same thing. Okay, sorry. H. So orient edge horizontal. It's gonna make it horizontal. So this is what box plot is. There's one more thing that you can do in box plot is the hue data. That if you want to know the data information of for the box plot, but what categorizing in any of the categorical value, either sex or in smoker or in size, you can use the proper function hue here. So what hue does is exactly the thing that happens in box plot. Sorry, exactly the thing that happens in exactly the thing that happens in pair plot is going to happen in box plot for each and every value. For each and every value of the categorical data that you're providing, it's going to make a different bar plot. So you can see hue is sex, the same thing that we have provided. So we got you can see smoker because we have provided y as smoker. So we'll have two charts, smoker as yes and smoker as no. So for smoker of yes also we have two particular box plot. For one is for male and one is for female. So what he did is, for each and every attribute of smoker, it's split between sex, which is male and female. You'll get a legend. So male, that which color combination, color code stands for male, which color code count for female. So you can see blue for male, yellow for female, and this particular box plot is for male, this particular box plot is for female, and if the smoker is no, this particular box is for male and this is for female. So this is what exactly also that you can do in box plot. Now we'll come for the Volant plot. To be honest, I don't think that you will use Volant plot anywhere. I'll not say anywhere, but it's rare that you'll see a Volant plot somewhere. So what exactly Volant plots gives you? Volant plot gives you the exact data that a box plot gives you, but it is also going to give you the density of the function, like the density of the data. You can see, if I'll zoom the picture here, you can see the Volant plot. You can see a starting line, starting of the line, starting of the deep line, the center point, end of the line, sorry, end of this, you can say box, and end of the box. So this is exactly the same which is there in box plot. Minimum 25th percentile, 50th percentile, 75th percentile, and maximum. And this particular graph shows you the density, like how much density is there of the data. So you can see smoker or non-smoker. As I've showed you, most of the people have the total bill between 10 to 20. So the density between 10 to 20 is really high, and the density for 50, because I've shown you like there are like only handful of people who has the total bill of 50. So you can see the density is really low for total bill. So this is what a volume plot is. It's exactly what a box plot, but also gives you the distribution of data in like a density function. So this is what a volume plot is. So this, I have a question. Okay, so Poker, I have a question. SNS count plot, why SNS.count plot x tip y tip data. Okay, as you write, I'll just execute. So you can see it's not possible, because what we do for count plot, as I've told you, count plot only gonna count the data for any other categorical data that you're providing. So it's either gonna be x-axis or y-axis, because the other axis is gonna be the count of that particular axis, as we have shown you, count plot of x, or if you write count plot of y to x. So the next axis will be only on the number of counts. If you want to exactly know the number of counts for tip, you have to use box plot, not count plot. Cool. Any other questions? Welcome. Any other questions? And there's one thing that I want to tell you. Seaborn and Matt, how to change the range of x-axis? Sorry. Okay, to change the axis, let me just go to any count plot. To change the axis, there's one stupid thing that you have to do, is that you have to assign this count plot to a variable, and then you have to write that particular variable. What's the name of the function? Set xlim. I guess this is when I don't remember the function sometimes. 10 to 40. What was the count? Starts from 60 to 160. Let's start 60 to 160. I guess it works. Okay, it's not working. So let's start it from 50. Okay, for some reason it's not working. Don't worry, I'll tell you how exactly it works. I don't know why it's not working. It's supposed to work. It's not even giving any error, but come on, yaar. The X limit is 50. Make it 1. What will happen? Well, nothing is happening. X-axis. Okay. So maybe I got to know the error. Okay, I don't know the error. Okay, Saloni, I'll find the answer and I'll tell you. I don't know why it's not working. Not even changing anything and it's not even giving me an error. That's weird. Really weird. What is the type of the main data? What? Shashank, I didn't get the question. Data type of what? Types data. Data frame. If you'll use this particular function and you're going to go for the type of this, you'll find a data frame. A data frame. If you'll see this kind of data, like rows and columns in like alternate color combination, like not color combination, like dark color, light color, dark color, light color, it's a data frame. Do not have, that is what the output of a load data set is, that it's going to take the data and provide you a data frame of the data set. Okay, sure, thank you. Wait, why am I? We don't need to mention PD anywhere, because we need to mention PD only when we are going to create the data frame by ourselves. What is the thing is, if you're going to use this SNS.load dataset, it's going to give you a data, like give you an output of the data. What we're doing that time is we are creating a data frame and then we are calling the data set like a CSV file from the function, because we want to get the CSV file. So pandas has the function pd.read CSV that will access the data from the CSV file and put it into a data frame. But what this particular function does is this particular function is automatically going to return you a data frame. You do not have to initialize it. Is boxplot evolved form of counterplot? Yeah, you can say that. Countplot is just gonna give you the counts. Boxplot gives you the count, exact verses, like what is the verses of x to y. And if you like want to use boxplot and work it as a count plot, uh, just give the boxplot and leave the count plot open, like leave the y-axis open. So you'll get what, the numbers, the occurrences of numbers. That's it. Okay. Good. Is boxplot? Is boxplot? Is boxplot? Wait, which one are you talking about? Oh wait, box plot is count. Oh wait, bro. I talked about this plot. Sorry. So box plot and count plot are completely different. Sorry for the answer. Sorry for that answer. I took box plot and this plot. Sorry. The box plot is completely different. Box plot gives you the data, like insights of what is the mm, minimum 25th percentile, 50 and 75th percentile. Count plot gives you the exact count, like occurrences, how many times has this particular male has been occurred in the data, or how many times female has been occurred in the data. Sorry, I took it as count plot and bar plot. My mistake. I didn't even see, like, I just considered like count plot. What is this? What is the most common thing about most similar to count plot is a bar plot. So I didn't even read it as box plot. I read it, considered it as a bar plot, and I just answered it. Sorry. So any other questions that you have? What is the use of distribution plot? So I guess I've showed you about distribution plot. Where is distribution plot? Chunk plot, a plot. Here's distribution plot. So just distribution plot is going to give you the distribution plot is exactly what Matplotlib's histogram gives you. That what is the exact number of people in that particular bin. Like as I've showed you, if you're providing tip in the data that you have seen, most of the people, which are here, if I'll just make it as hex only, easy to explain what I did. Okay, come on. So you can see most of the people have the tip between 2 to 4. So even in the disk plot, you can see most of the people have the data in between 2 to 4 for the tip. So this is what this is exactly a histogram. But what is the difference between Matplotlib's histogram in here is there the histogram only depends on the number, like the occurrences. You can give more options as we don't want to give to know the exact number. We want to know the density, like what is the percentage of people between 10 to 20. So we can use like we just remove kd is equal to false or just write kd is equal to true here. Like write kd is equal to true. What I did? So sorry. Insert with insert. Okay, unlock insert. Bins. Come on. So remove kd only. Irritating things. So if the kd is not true, then it's going to give you the percentage of how many people are there. Like you can see between 2 to 4 there's a huge spike. It means most of like 0.4 means 40% of the people have given the data bit like tip between 2 to 3, and between 3 to 4 you can consider it as 0. It's 0.4, so it's 0.038. So 38% of the whole data has given the tip between 3 to 4, and you can see so many like less persons have given any tip which is more than 10. There are stuff because so that you can see a small bar plot here. So this is what a distance plot and distance plot is. So, any other questions? What's Monday's topic? Monday's topic is gonna be the basics of machine learning. Can we store all this percentage into separate data frame? Which percentage? That one. Nah. You have to act because the thing is, it's only gonna keeping the data in RAM and showing it into a canvas. To get inside that particular what graph or get inside that particular diagram, there are libraries. I'm not sure there are. I guess there are libraries which can access the data from the graphs and get the work done which you want. But if you want to get to know the percentage, instead of making a graph and putting the data, you can just use mathematical functions. Like you have the number of tips, calculate the number of tips, divide with the bins that you want it to be, you'll get the percentage. Instead of making the whole graph and then extracting the data, you can just make a mathematical expression. Any other questions? I guess no one has any questions. If no one has any questions, just write yes, thank you, or thumbs up, or anything. Okay, I guess people are happy now. Thank you, bro. So this concludes this class. Now we'll meet on Monday. This week I'm not gonna give any project, as I said, because I want to give the people which are new to Python a bit of time to get familiarized with the syntax. So the next The next project that you'll get will be on Friday, this Friday, the coming Friday, and we'll meet on Monday. Bye bye then. Have a nice day. Where is the